Hey everyone, this is Dan Charles with Light Forex, and today is Friday, January 17th. I'm going to break down the major Forex pairs, starting with the Australian USD. But first, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done that, and hit that bell so you always know when the videos are dropping. Okay, let's start with the Australian USD. So last day on the 15th, I was saying we looked like we were going to go up. I was definitely leaning more bullish. We had strong support down here at the low 68.50, the low of the January 10th and 9th candles. We had this support down here around 68.40. So things did go up, but then they came down, and now we're really setting up bearish. So that's how quickly things can change in the world of trading. And I'm never married to a certain direction, because one day I could be bullish and a day or two later I'm completely bearish. And that's where I am right now with the Australian USD. This is really setting up to come down lower. All the time frames are shifting. We look at the 240. We're a bit choppy in here, and then we're breaking down. Right here we're breaking down. You can just see here, very sideways, holding some support around 68.88, and busted through here, and we're definitely setting up more bearish. And plus, just on the daily chart here, this is the perfect bearish style candle. You got an opening price 68.96. The bulls are driving it up. Bulls are in control, and then the bears drive it back down. The momentum is to the downside, and just price action. You know, you're dropping, you're pulling up. This is potentially going to be the lower high, and we'll see if this comes down. Now we got to watch these support levels that I just talked about. 68.51, and then of course down here around 68.40. So we'll see if those can hold. But right now this is definitely setting up more to the downside. Let's take a look. The Australian futures, yeah, it's definitely setting up bearish. Now on the futures, we're looking at the support at 68.60. You can just see here, price hit this support level, bounced. And then, just like I pointed out, this is potentially going to be the lower high. And we'll see if this support can hold, but realistically, the weekly chart is definitely screaming bearish, and the 240 and the 60 as well. So I'm anticipating Sunday night, Monday, Australian dollar looking quite bearish. Okay, onto the Euro USD. And a lot of the Forex pairs have shifted. So I was leaning more bullish when I looked at this on the 15th. You can see it did go higher, and then really set up bearish on the 16th. Big drop today. The momentum is clearly to the downside. We got to watch this support though. So here we have a low of 1086. The low today was 1086. So that's very, very important to watch. What I'll be doing is I'll watch if this has a rebound, because this is a long rangy candle. See if that support holds for a bit of a bounce the next day. But it might just be a little rebound up, and then it turns around and comes down, because this is definitely setting up more bearish as well. If we look at the Euro Futures, you can just see on the Euro Futures we have this important support at 11,305 that I've been drawing in. And you can see price actually dipped below that price, but then closed above it. So that's why we could get a little bit of a bounce. Plus we have this gap down here. We have this space. We have that gap. So I'm leaning more bearish, but I'm expecting a potential bounce on the Euro USD. But that's quite a bearish week, But just based on the monthly chart, you can just see we're very, very up, down, very, very choppy on the Euro USD. So we're up, we're down, we're up, and here we are coming back down. We got to watch that support at 10,000. So let's watch that support. It's a little bit down the way a bit, but I'm expecting this to have a bounce next day, but I'm bearish now on the Euro USD. And same with the Pound USD. So when I looked at this on the 15th, I thought this was going to bounce higher. It did go higher, as you can see, on the 16th. So I called all these correct. They did go higher, but then they ended up dropping the next day. And then today, this is really setting up bearish as well. So we got to watch support at 1.3000. That's going to be the key price. We closed at 1.3005. So let's see if that can hold. And then of course we have this support down here at 2905, the low. So yeah, this is it's definitely setting up more to the downside. And you can just see the same thing. We got the high made on December 13th. That was 1.3515. This would be a lower high here, lower low, lower high, and then here we are setting up for another potential lower high, and we'll see if this comes down. Bust through this low here, 2905. It's very, very key support, just like I pointed out here on the weekly, and that would make a lower low. So yeah, I'm definitely leaning more to the downside, but we got to watch this key support because you could easily hit support, and this is the market. Anything can change. So what it's definitely setting up more bearish now. A turnaround can never be ruled out. Let's take a look at the British Pound Futures. Yeah, it's definitely setting up bearish. So what was support was this low at 1.3094 is now resistance. The high today, 30.79. And here it is really setting up bearish. So this would have to bust through this support at 1.2996. So there it is. That's the way it's setting up right now. See if this can come down, make a new low. So that's how it's playing out right now. But we got to watch that support at 1.3000. You can just see that on the weekly chart here. So I'm bearish so far on the Australian, the Euro, the Pound USD. But on the first two, we could definitely see a little bit of a rebound. Let's take a look at the New Zealand US dollar. It's the same thing. I'm expecting this is setting up bearish. Now the last day on the 15th, I was expecting this to go up. You can see it did that. And a lot of my trading is just short-term trading. So 1 to 3 days, I'm holding a position. So this is fine for me. I called this going up, bullish. I'm fine with a 1-day move, but now we're setting up to go lower as well on the New Zealand USD. Let's take a look at the 60-minute chart. Yeah, so you can see just on the 60, you can see the lower highs, support. That support gets busted through on this 5 a.m. candle today, and here we are going lower. Yeah, this is you can't be anything but bearish right now on the New Zealand USD. Let's take a look at the futures. Yeah, it's really, it looks a little different, but it's really the same thing. Got to watch this low here, 65.90. Let's see if that can hold. But yeah, this is definitely setting up more bearish. And once that gets taken out, if that gets taken out, we have to look at this 65.72 level, which was the support. So once this broke out, hit some resistance, pulls back, finds support for the next move up. So this is going to be key support in around here, 65.74. But yeah, I'm bearish on the New Zealand USD. Okay, on to the USDCAD. So the USDCAD, I figured this would come back to the moving average, and the moving average is caught up with it. I was just saying the other day that to me it looked more, it wasn't trading, it wasn't like a good time to take a position of any, it was more of a wait and see. And I drew in on the 240 that I wanted to see a break above 30.78. So you can see here we have not busted through that price yet. It's definitely looking more bullish on the USD-CAD at this moment. It's definitely looking more upside. But I'd really, for safety, I'd want to see it bust through that resistance. But it's definitely setting up more bullish. Let's take a look at the Canadian futures. Yeah, so when I looked at this on the 15th, I thought it looked like it would go higher. It did technically go higher, but not by much. This is going to be very, very key on the Canadian dollar here, because it was really setting up, if you looked at the monthly, it's definitely setting up more bullish. But when you look at the monthly charts, you look at the pattern, and you see this big candle up. And remember, these are monthly candles. Then it comes back and drops. It holds this low. It holds the low. 0.7325 has another big breakout candle, but we're not going anywhere. We're not busting through. We're not busting through anything. And then we pull back. We hold the lows here, and then we have a big bust out for December. And so the pattern is always a pullback. So the Canadian dollar is kind of stuck in this wedge, and the USD-CAD looks more bullish. So that would say this looks more bearish, and definitely this chart is looking more bearish. But because that lines up with how the monthly has been trading, you get these pullbacks. You know what? I'm a little bit mixed. I look at the 240 and I see a rebound coming on the Canadian dollar as well. You look at the Canadian dollar here and you see strong support around 76.460. But we're just kind of choppy. But looking at this, it does look more like there's upside. So I just said there's more upside on the USD-CAD, so that would be the opposite of the Canadian dollar. So I'm going to lean more neutral on the USD-CAD and the Canadian dollar at this point, because I can make a point for both sides. So it's best to just wait for a strong breakout in either direction and reevaluate. Okay, on to the USD yen. Yeah, so last time I looked at this on the 15th, I was saying that looks like we had some resistance at 110. And because we closed below on the 14th, and we closed below on the 15th, and 110 is always a resistance point on the USD yen. Now the other thing to remember is the USD yen is moving with the stock market. The NASDAQ, the S&P, the Dow Jones. So if this is going up, the stock market's going up. And we know the stock market's been bullish this week. But right now, if I'm looking at the 60, this is telling me we're going to pull back. The USD yen looks more The USD yen daily chart looks like this could pull back. I'm leaning more to the downside. We can see we got resistance hit on the 240. So you can see there's a high hit, a 110.21, and then 110.21 hit again, and then here we are dropping. So it does look to me more like we could have some downside. And of course the overall stock market is definitely due for a pullback as well. But I'm going to remain neutral on this, because to me this looked like it was going to pull back here on the 10th. Then it looked like it could pull back here on the 15th. It kept going higher, just like the market's going higher. So I'm going to remain neutral. But let me see if I can change my mind by looking at the yen futures. Let's take a look at the lows here. Well, on the 240, there's definitely some support here at 0.009097.5. That price was hit twice. It looks like we're trying to form a bottom. It definitely looks more like we're trying to form a bottom here, which would send this higher and the USD yen lower. And you can see on the weekly chart, there's definitely some support around this price range. So you can see here, right around this price, getting a bounce. Comes down, bounces, and here we are at that price again. So it's I'm leaning more towards now a bounce on the yen and a pullback on the USD yen. Okay, that is the breakdown for Friday, January 17th, 2020. Please subscribe to the channel, get more videos. Don't forget to hit that bell so you know when a video has been dropped. And sign up for a demo account at Light Forex. You can get that link below this video. Okay, thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.